Welcome to the Pain-Free Movement. This channel is for those affected, frustrated or annoyed by musculoskeletal pain. Pain from injury, pain in joints or muscles, pain in backs and necks. This program has one simple goal: to help you sort out your problems. What is the single most important thing? I'm Max Kavanagh, a physiotherapist in Adelaide, South Australia. It's a world of confusing messages out there, and the single most important thing is your health. This program will address all aspects of healthy, pain-free movement, but with one goal: making it simple. There are many contributing factors to the injuries we see, but above all, there is one thing that contributes most to the loads on our tissues: poor posture. When I say that in presentations, I get two reactions. People automatically sit up straighter, and I'm sure they all think, oh, here we go again. Yes, we all know posture is really important, right? Well, my mum told me to sit up straight. I bet your parents did too. And if you have kids, I bet you've told them time and time again as well. But success rate with that? Zero. Sit up straight doesn't work. In fact, I think it's a wrong approach. So if that's not working for us, what do we need to know about posture? What are we missing? What is the single most important thing about improving our posture? Well, let's start by defining what we mean by the word posture. The Cambridge Dictionary defines posture as the way in which someone usually holds their shoulders, neck and back, or a particular position in which someone stands, sits, etc. We usually think of posture as static, holding ourselves straight so our back is strong. And we have a changing world which has added an incredibly different number of activities which add to our postural stress. Our workplaces and study practices have dramatically changed. Laptops, mobile phones, computers, greater sedentary hours and even more time in transport have all added to our sitting postural loads. Poor posture is the most common contributing factor I see in the injuries clients present to us with. Slumping stretches and compresses tissue. Poor posture means we're at the end of range, and that's a problem. If we hold our thumb back for a long time, we know that the discomfort it will cause is significant. Similarly, if we stay in the slump position, we are building pressure on our discs and our joints. Inevitably, they won't like us for it. Poor posture contributes to a great number of problems, so it's crucial to address it. Slumping increases lumbar pressure, our neck falls into a poking chin posture, and we get rounded shoulders. Being at the end of range has two effects. Firstly, poor posture leads to a summation of loads, and eventually we push our tissues past their ability to cope. With the build-up of stretching and compressing, we get neck pain, headaches, back pain, shoulder and elbow pain, and even repetitive strain injuries. But secondly, and perhaps more importantly, remember how we've discussed, if you don't use it, you lose it. The thinking is that if you're constantly in poor posture, you're not using your deep postural muscles, the muscles that control what we now commonly term our core. And if these stabilising muscles of our spine don't work efficiently, we're more vulnerable to injury. Okay, so we get it. We know we shouldn't slouch and we try to correct ourselves, but why aren't we successful? Well, quite simply, I think we're going about it in the wrong way. I think the focus on correct posture, of holding ourselves in the perfect alignment, is well intentioned, but it's actually wrong. As I see it, there are three reasons why we don't have success in trying to improve our posture. Firstly, the misnomer we are constantly told is that having a straight back is best. We have talked a lot about why static positioning is not best for us at all. Our body needs movement for life. Posture is dynamic. We need change. Second is the primary focus on using muscles of our upper body to hold that position. The idea that we should keep our chest out, our chin in and our shoulders back certainly straightens us up, but using our upper body muscles in that way is completely inefficient. So after a minute or so we'll say, bugger that, and we're slouching again. And thirdly, habits take 3 months to change. I think that's why nobody does it. We need to be very persistent, but we lose motivation, and without a drive to keep at it, we drop away. So, if we're not getting success, it's time for a different approach. Let's make it simple. It's time to look at posture differently. So, we have a model of our spine, just to give you an orientation of what we're talking about. The spinal column runs down and joins the pelvis and the pelvic ring down the bottom here. So with our pelvic ring, we have the iliac crest, there are our waist bones at the top, we have our pubic bones at the front, and at the bottom we have what are called our ischiums. And the ischiums have the ischial tuberosities. They are the lumps at the bottom. In fact, they're our sitting bones. And when we tilt and slouch our back, our weight falls to the back of our spine and onto our tailbone. If we roll right forward, then the weight shifts forward and goes past those bones. What we're looking for is for us to find a happy medium, and the midline means that we take the weight through these ischial tuberosities. Now let's revisit pelvic tilting. We used this simple technique in episode 2 as a gentle movement we can use to help lessen back pain. Now, I want you to go through this with me so you can feel what you need to learn. So, from our slouch position, imagine we've got a poker and we poke you in the middle of your back, and you would arch away from that position and roll your hips forward and then roll backwards. So we're doing a pelvic tilting. Just keep doing that now and you'll feel yourself roll up onto the bones of your bum and then fall off them when you come backwards. This time I want you to roll forward and stay sitting on those bones. And what you'll notice is that automatically your shoulders come back into a better posture and your chin comes out of that poking chin posture as well. All of this doesn't require lots of muscle engagement or strength at all. This simple movement brings you into better posture. That's the beauty of this approach. So here's the key. Improving posture is not about being perfect all the time. It's about not being bad most of the time. So all you have to do is sit on the bones of your bum. Now that's a powerful message. You don't have to be perfect, just get out of the slouch. If we understand that just starting by staying away from the end of range more often, we can lessen the loads of summation on our tissues. How simple is that? But there's a catch. Remember, the nervous system takes 3 months to learn a new habit. So there's a lot of things working against us because motivation has to be there to make the change happen. And if the motivation is pain, then we'll drop away as we feel better. And you might now also start to realise that furniture is often an enemy. Too long in the thigh depth pushes us into the slump position. Sloped backs in chairs don't help. Easy rider posture in cars is definitely not good for us. You get the picture. So we need help. And there are 2 very simple techniques I'll share with you. Firstly, put your backside to the very back of every chair when you sit down. That makes it harder to fall into the end slouch position. And secondly, use a lumbar cushion in the hollow of your back. That means at the level of your waist, or the level of your arm if you reach across your back, which is much higher than most people put cushions. Everyone usually puts them too low, which actually brings on a slouch position. If you use these 2 simple things, you'll spend less time in that end of range slump, and the summation of load over the day will be reduced. So your tissues will be able to cope more. Remember, it's not about being in the perfect posture all the time, it's about not being bad most of the time. Now, of course, we are focusing on the sitting position, and you're probably thinking, well, what about standing? Especially if you have a job that has you on your feet a lot. Well, the same principles apply, but it's easiest to start with sitting. We have less to focus on, and by starting there, you'll have greater success. Now, there's certainly more we can do once we get this simple basic principle into our habits, and I'll show you other simple things later, but we need to begin with this different approach. We start with this foundation up idea. If we get the foundation right, the rest of it will automatically move into better alignment, as opposed to trying to sit up straight. True to our aim, let's keep it simple. Your task this week is to first of all become aware of how you're sitting and recognising how much you are slouching during the day. Take notice as much as you can, and every time you catch yourself slouching, correct the foundation position by pelvic tilting forward, and count the number of times you find yourself realising the poor postural position you're in. You'll be surprised to see the load you are putting on your spine. Now, don't be hard on yourself. Remember, it's a habit, so improvement won't happen overnight. If you are to change a habit, firstly, you must be aware of what you're doing now. So jot down in your journal how many times you pick yourself up each day. Let's have a baseline to work with, and we can watch you improve over the coming weeks. So having discussed all those aspects of posture, what is the single most important thing? What is the single most important thing we need to know about posture? Sit on the bones of your bum. Start from the foundation up. Be persistent and learn a new habit. It's such a simple technique, but it's a powerful tool. Sitting on the bones of your bum. It's in your best interests. And next week, I'll have another different approach to fitness to share with you. If these videos have helped you in any way, we'd love to hear from you. Please send us a comment below. I'm Max Kavanagh, wishing you good health and pain-free movement, and I'll see you next week.